Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told, Out of Voice Radio. So today, it's time to have a look at every Jirachi ever. Been a little while since we did one of these videos. I like Jirachi. Jirachi's got a lot of very interesting cards. It's even had 4 unreleased Japanese promos, which is quite frankly a little bit silly. Therefore, I think it's worth taking a look at every Jirachi ever. Just a quick note, some of my previous Every Card Ever videos were named very similarly to False Swipe Gaming's VGC series. Not a deliberate thing on my part, but they do come up on my suggestions quite a lot, so I think it was one of those subconscious inadvertent things. Apologies if anybody thought I was being rude. Also, apologies if I call Victini Jirachi at any point during this video. I get their names wrong quite a bit. So Victini actually made its debut in November 2011 in Noble Victories, which was very much the Victini set. We had 3 different Victinis in that set, and we even had a set symbol, which was clearly Victini. Now, probably the best one of them, certainly the one that saw the most play, was the Victory Flip Victini, which had a great ability, which allowed you to reflip a coin flip used for an attack if you didn't like what you got. I suppose you could reflip if you did like what you got, but that wouldn't make much sense. It was played with a whole heap of decks, including Vanillux, which also came out in the same Noble Victory set. You see, Vanillux had double freeze, 2 energy, flip 2 coins, if either of them are heads, you get paralysis. So you use Victini here, unless you flip 2 double tails in a row, you're getting paralysis. It didn't guarantee paralysis, but it did give you a 15 in 16 chance of paralysis, or a 94% chance, which was pretty gosh darn high. It also saw a bit of play in electric decks after a while. People would use the Dynamo with Thunder Wave, so they had a 75% chance of paralyzing their opponent's active to buy them time to set up in what was a slightly slower deck. Now, this actually got 2 prints in Noble Victories, the regular and the full art. It was reprinted as a promo card, and it even got an alternate art reprint later on in Legendary Treasures. We also got the V-Blast Victini, which is to date the only Psychic Victini released. Japan did have a promo which we never got, more on that later. And although it had a lot of potential, it was never quite good enough. 1 Psychic Energy, 120 damage, if you flipped 2 heads. Now obviously Victory Star Victini helped with this. I tested this, I know a lot of other people did. In the end it proved a bit unreliable. But the V-Create Victini did see a fair amount of play in a bunch of decks that played Rainbow Energy and tried to have 1 Pokemon of every type. This was a great fire one to use. 100 damage if you've got 5 Pokemon on your bench. Great if you're hitting for weakness, hence why you'd play it in a deck that played Rainbow Energy. But it would be exactly a year until we got our next Victini. It came around in November 2012 in Boundaries Crossed, and let's just say it wasn't particularly good, to put it bluntly. 1 colorless energy, draw a card, no. 2 energy, 30 damage for each heads you can flip until you flip a tails. I mean, I suppose maybe you flip like 20 heads in a row and it's amazing. And again, Victory Flip Victini here would work nicely. Honestly, it wasn't a particularly good card. But the good news is we wouldn't have to wait long for another try. It was Victini EX, and it was released as part of the Plasma Storm expansion in February 2013. And we can't really talk about Victini EX without also talking about Victory Piece. This an A-Spec tool. A-Spec, you can only have 1 of any A-Spec, 1 total, in your deck. And if you attached it to a Victini EX, it could attack for free, which meant it had a nice attack for 0 energy that did 100 damage to a Pokemon EX or GX. And it shouldn't surprise you to learn that this was a very popular tech against Virizion Genesect, being able to KO either of those Pokemon for essentially 0 energy. If a Virizion Genesect came against a Victini with Victory Piece, that would be bad news bears. And I suppose I should also mention it got a one-hit KO on Jirachi EX, which did see quite a lot of play back then as well. It saw a bit of play for Turbo Energize, mind you. 1 Fire Energy, search your deck for 2 basic energy, attach them to your bench Pokemon in any way you like. If you were playing Fire or Rainbow Energy, this gave you really good energy acceleration. 110 HP, giving up 2 prizes was a bit of an issue, but it did see play for that attack as well. The next time we saw Victini was in November 2013, but it was just an exact reprint of Victini EX and an alternate art reprint of the Victory Flip Victini, so nothing new or exciting, but there were Victinis there. The next proper Victini came in May 2015 as part of the Roaring Skies expansion, and it sucked, ladies and gentlemen. All 4 of the Jirachi we looked at previously were pretty good, certainly had some reason to play it. This one sucked. 1 colorless energy, draw a card. 2 energy, 20 damage, flip a coin if heads, paralysis. There's plenty of Pokemon that can paralyze on a coin flip for 1 energy. No, ladies and gentlemen, that one sucked. Now, we did get a promo Victini, which actually got 2 releases. The lovely full art one was in the Jirachi Mythical Collection, which was released in September 2016, part of the whole Generations thing. And then the Volcanion Mythical Collection in January 2017 gave us another print of the particular card. It wasn't particularly good, mind you. 1 colorless energy, flip a coin if heads, attach an energy card from your discard pile to one of your bench. Kind of useful, but not as an attack, to be honest with you. And then 2 energy, 50 damage, discard a fire energy attached to Victini. Again, I just cannot recommend this. We kind of had a run of really good Victini, and then it all went downhill. But in May 2017... we saw the return of Victory Flip. It wasn't the exact same card, it wasn't an exact reprint, but kind of 5.5 years after it originally came out, the same ability was back. And this ability is good now in the same way it was back then. I regularly do videos where cards involve coin flips. In fact, every new card gets a video on this channel. And anyone that involve a coin flip, nowadays you've got to ask the question, is this something we want Victini for? Because if you're going to use a flippy attack, Victini makes it better. There's not really any argument about that. It's a great, great resource to have, and it's played in a whole bunch of decks, and will continue to be. The attack's not particularly good, but nobody really cares. I call it Victory Flip. It's obviously Victory Star, though it is referred to as the Victory Flip Victini. 50 for 2 energies, not particularly exciting, but nobody cares. It's all about the ability. Now, they're the only ones that have been released so far. There are 2 which are upcoming, but first, I want to stop and have a quick look at the unreleased promos that Japan got that we've never had so far. And honestly, probably never will at this point. Starting off then, the first one Japan got that we didn't was kind of July to August 2011, and it was this ridiculous jumbo card that had 500 HP and did 500 for a single energy, which would make for brilliant mirror matches. It's just who wins the flip and doesn't whiff an energy. And look at the beautiful art on this card. If anyone knows where I can get one of these, hit me up. Now, according to Bulbapedia, which is always a good place to look for stuff like this, the card was released as an unnumbered jumbo card and was available during the Pokemon Stamp Rally Black and White from July to August 2011. Among the various events held over the course of the rally, it could be obtained by taking part in a survey whereby you would identify Pokemon or items in their guard book, place the correct stickers above the relevant description by deciphering the notes, or finding the answer at select stations across the network. That, ladies and gentlemen, sounds like a lot of fun to me. Now, Japan also got this Victini in the Everyone's Exciting Battle Collection, which was released in November 2012, and again it was, utter garbage, to be honest. 3 energy, 60 damage. No, that's not good at all. But still a Victini they got that we didn't. And they got a second Psychic Victini, which seems a little bit rude. It was released in the Mewtwo vs Genesect deck kit in July 2013, and it's only the second Psychic Victini ever. And it's slightly better than the others. 1 Psychic Energy, grab a basic Pokemon from your deck and bench it. Psychic and a colourless, 20 damage, 40 on a head. Still not a terribly inspiring card, but only one of 2 Psychic Victini. And then the final one they got that we didn't was this fire one, which was released in Korokoro Ichiban the magazine in June 2016. One fire energy, search for free fire energy cards and put them into your hand. Suppose it would be quite nice using it with Victini EX, for instance, to get a bit of the old steam up going on. And then if you did want to go and attack with it, you could do 60 for 2 fire energy. It's not particularly exciting, especially given that you had to discard them all. So not a particularly great card, but an interesting one nonetheless. But there are 2 more Victini which haven't been released yet, but are coming, which are very, very nice indeed. So we know that in Dragon Majesty we're going to be getting Victini Prism Star. And what that's going to do is, for 2 fire energy, or indeed 1 counter energy, shuffle all your basic energy into your deck from your discard, and it does 20 damage for each card you shuffle back in. This is going to be brilliant in any counter energy deck, because obviously it works beautifully with counter energy. But it's also going to be great in any fire deck. In Expanded, we've got Blacksmith, which is going to be really nice for getting the energy on there nice and quickly. I really believe this is going to be a very good card that's going to see a lot of play and get teched into a lot of decks. But I think the one that's going to be coming in Lost Thunder could potentially be even better. Essentially, what it does for a fire and a colourless energy, you do 20 damage for each basic Pokemon you've got in play. Now, as with all of these kind of cards, it's better in Expanded with Skyfield, but if you've got a Skyfield out on all basic Pokemon, and you can still use stuff like Tapu Lele and Oranguru, you're doing 180 damage, 210 with a Choice Band. That's incredibly good. Now, I have done videos about these 2 new Victinis, I'll pop links in the description. But the point here is, this could be a great card in the Expanded format. It's certainly one I'm going to be playing around with next format. I think it could be awesome. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is every Victini we have ever had released in the Pokemon trading card game. A great run to begin with, a big lull in the middle, but we're about to get Victinis 2 and 3 in a row, which are really, really good. So ignore the promo on the one from Roaring Skies, and generally speaking, Victini's had some good cards. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you guys. What's your favourite Victini? Tell me your favourite Victini memory. Let me know in the comment section. Go nuts, but remember the rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And do check out my Dragon Ball Super /Transformers TCG /video game channel, Wasi Plays, for some more action. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.